Hi, class. In this lecture, I want to talk about three topics. I want to talk about percent, sales tax, and discount, and discounts. And then at the end of this lecture, I want to do kind of like a application example of percent increases. It'll be a great video that's great lecture video that's applicable to the real world as well. Okay, so our objectives in this section, the first couple things are going to be kind of reviews from maybe your previous math courses or high school. So we want to express a fraction as a percent. We want to express a decimal as a percent. We want to express a percent as a decimal. Then what we would want to do is we want to solve applied problems involving sales tax and discounts. Then we're going to determine percent increases or decrease. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to investigate some ways that a percent can be abused, right? That'll be kind of like the last application example I was talking about. Okay, so just some basics of a percent. So the percent's a result of expressing numbers as part of 100. Okay, so the word percent means per 100, so per whatever 100%. So to express a fraction as a percent, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to divide the numerator by the denominator, so the top divided by the bottom. Then you're going to multiply the quotient by 100. Okay, so what this really does is this moves the decimal place and the quotient 2 places to the right. So you're going to take your decimal and you're going to go whoop, whoop, 2 places to the right. And then you're going to add a percent sign. All right, so let's do an example. So I want to express 5/8 as a percent. Okay, so the first thing is you're going to divide the top by the bottom. So if you take 5, divide by 8, and plug it into your calculator, you'll get 0.625. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to multiply this division, this quotient, by 100. So when you do this, okay, when you take 0.625 times 100, you get 62.5. But remember, and I'm just going to go back for a second, move the decimal place 2 places to the right. So I'm going to take this, look what happens when I multiply it by 100, go 1, 2, boom, 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 between the 2 and the 5. So now that you have this 62.5, you're just going to add a percent. And what we're saying is 5/8 is the equivalent of 62.5%. Or another way of thinking about it is 5 is 62.5% of the number 8. Okay, so now let's talk about expressing a decimal number as a percent. So to express a decimal number as a percent, okay, just what I said before, move the decimal point 2 places to the right and attach a percent sign. So like here, if I have 0.47 as a percent, or want to express the decimal 0.47 as a percent, all you're going to do is take this and you're going to move the decimal 2 places to the right, 1, 2. And then once you do that, you get 1, 2, you just get the number 47, and then you're going to put on a percent sign at the end. So 0.47 as a percent is equivalent to 47%. Okay, now expressing a percent as a decimal number, so going backwards. So to express a percent as a decimal number, you're going to move the decimal point 2 places to the left, and then you're going to remove the percent sign. Okay, so I want to express each of these as a decimal. All right, so I'm going to take 19%, express it as a decimal, and I'm going to take 180% express it as a decimal. So here you're just going to use your 2 steps. You're going to look at your 19%. All right, it has a decimal point, an invisible decimal point, right there after the last number. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take that decimal point, I'm going to move it 1, 2 places to the left. Okay, so it's going to be, the decimal point is now going to be in front of the 1. After I do that, I'm going to remove the percent sign. And it helps to see the 0 here, filling that in just so you can understand exactly what's going on here. So thus 19% is equivalent to 0.19. Doing the same thing with 180%. So remember, there's a little decimal point right there. And I'm going to go 1, 2 spaces to the left, and it's going to end up, the number is going to end up between the 1 and the 8. So 180% is equivalent to 1.80, or you could just knock off the last 0 and just call it 1.8. Okay, so many applications involving percent are based on the following formula. A is P% of B, or the amount is P% of some other amount B. Okay, note that the of, when you see the word of, okay, so P percent of B, it just implies multiplication. All right, so we use this formula to determine sales tax collected by states, counties, cities on sales items to customers. And so if you're ever curious like how much you're paying in sales tax, the formula is that the sales tax amount, how much you're paying in sales tax, is equal to the tax rate. Okay, so like if it's a 7% tax, whatever, we're going to take that 7% tax and change to a decimal. The tax rate times the item's cost. All right, so let's do an example. Suppose that the local sales tax rate is 7.5%, okay? And you purchase a bicycle for $894, okay? Ooh, that's an expensive bike. Two questions. How much tax do you pay on the item? And what is the bicycle's total cost? Okay, so this first off, how much tax do you pay? So the sales tax amount, well, you're going to take the tax rate and multiply it by the item's cost. So you have to figure out what 7.5% of $894 is. So that of is the multiplication. Whenever you have a percent like this and you want to multiply it, you have to change it to a decimal. So you're going to move the decimal place 2 places to the left. So 7.5% becomes 0.075 times the $894. If you plug this in your calculator, you'll get 67.05 or $67.05, which is a lot. That's a crazy amount of tax to pay on this. Well, then to figure out how much the total cost is, right, like how much you have to pay the store, well, you're going to take how much the bike cost, and you're going to add to it the tax you just paid. So the bicycle's total cost is $961.05. Again, a pretty expensive bike. All right, so we kind of have an idea of what sales tax is, but sometimes businesses reduce prices or give a discount to attract customers to reduce inventory. I don't know about you all, but when I generally go into a store, I look first at the discount rack. All right, so the discount rate is a percent of the original price, okay? So, but then the discount amount, so the discount rate, how much they're going to discount it, like 20% or something. The discount amount, so how much is coming off the price, is you take the discount rate and you multiply it by the original price. Let's do an example. So a computer with an original price of $1,460 is on sale at 15% off. Okay, so what is the discount amount? What is the computer sale price? Those are the two questions. So first one, what is the discount amount? And then how much is the computer being sold for? Okay, so the discount amount, how much is coming off the computer? Well, that discount amount is equal to the rate times the original price. So the store is knocking off 15%. So it's 15% of the original price. So take your 15%, turn it into a decimal, and multiply it by the original price. When you do that, the store is taking off $219 for you to buy this computer. So the discount amount, how much coming off, is $219. All right, so to find the computer's sale price then, all right, is you take the original price, $1,460, and you subtract away that discount amount, how much was coming off. So the sale price is equal to $1,460 minus $219. So this computer is on sale for $1,241 after you figure out what that subtraction is. Still a pretty expensive computer. Okay, so let's talk about when prices change. So if a quantity changes, like maybe price, its percent increase or percent decrease can be found as following. Okay, so you want to find the fraction for the percent increase or decrease. So it's the original amount if it's an increase. So you take the original amount, put that in the denominator, and the numerator you put the amount of the increase. Or you take the amount of the increase, divide by the original amount. Same thing on the other side. If you have if you know how much it's gone down, you take the amount of the decrease and divide that by the original amount. And when you figure out what that is, that's going to tell us how much, in terms of a percentage, that the item has gone up or the item has gone down. So you can find the percent increase or decrease by expressing the fraction in step 1 as a percent. So you're just going to turn it to a percentage. All right, let's do an example. So let's talk about finding the percent increase and decrease. In the year 2000, world population was approximately 6 billion people. Okay, not bad. So the data are from the United Nations Family Planning Program and are based on optimistic or pessimistic um, expectations for successful control of human population growth. So what we have here, in the year 2000, according to this United Nations Family Plan, we said that the world population was 6 billion. And what they're attempting to do is to show the projections of the world population um, with different like types of expectations. So here's the high expectation. So by 2150, supposed to be 30 billion people. The medium projection by 2150, it's 13 billion people. And the low projection here is that by 2150, the population will decrease. Okay, so let's find the percent increase. So remember, percent increase in world population from 2000 to 2150 using the high projection data. And then the second one, let's find the percent decrease. So here, in world population from 2000 to 2150 using the low projection of the data. Okay, so remember in 2000, 6 billion, 2150, 30 billion for the high one. And for the low one, 6 billion, and then it decreases to 4 billion. Okay, so let's find that percent increase. So use the data shown on the blue high projection graph. So the percent increase, you have to find the amount of the increase. Well, we're going from 6 billion people to 30 billion people. So how much is that increased or how much is that changed? Well, you have to take the 30 that you're now getting minus the original amount. That gets you 24. And then you have to divide that by the original amount, which was 6 billion people. So when you take 24 divided by 6, okay, that just gets you 4. So to change that to a decimal, okay, you're going to have to change this to a percentage, You're going to have to take your decimal point and move it 2 places to the right. That gets you the number 400, and then you make it a percentage. So the projected percent increase in world population is 400%. So what happens actually when you see something like it's gone up 400%, that basically means it's gone up 4 times. And well, 6 times 4 does get you the 24% increase, or that 24 billion increase, excuse me. All right, let's find the percent decrease. All right, so use the graph shown in green from the low projection here. So the amount of the decrease, well, you had 6 billion and it's gone down to 4 billion, so it's decreased by 2. Divide that by the original amount, which was 6, and then that 2 divided by 6 is 1/3. If you plug 1/3 into your calculator, you would get 0.33333333. So moving 0.333333 decimal places to the 1, 2 right, you get 33.333333, which is 1/3. So this percent decrease is we're saying the world's population has gone down by 33.33%. All right, so let's just talk about just some quick abuse of percentages here. All right, so John Tesh, while he was still co-anchoring Entertainment Tonight, reported that the PBS series The Civil War had an audience of 13% versus the usual 14% audience. And so he said this is an increase of more than 300%. Okay, so did Tesh report the percent increase correctly? He didn't actually. All right, so the reason he thought it was 300% is because if you take 4 times 3, you get 12, and that's higher, but that's not really how much the percent has gone up. So we begin by finding the actual percent increase. So find the amount of the increase. Well, it went from 13% to, from 4% to 13%. So it's actually only gone up by 9. Divide that by the original percentage, which was 4. So 9 divided by 4 gets you 2.25. And changing that to a decimal, change that to a percent, this decimal to a percent, move it 2 places to the right, you get 225%. So we can see that the percent increase for PBS was actually 225%. So this is not more than 300%. So Tesh did not report this percent increase accurately. So just be mindful of that. All right, thanks everyone.